The trochlear or the fourth cranial nerve. The trochlear nerve supplies only one muscle in the eyeball, that is superior oblique, remembered as SO4. All other muscles of the eye are supplied by the oculomotor third nerve, except lateral rectus supplied by abducent sixth nerve and superior oblique by the fourth nerve. So we will describe the nerve under the same headings. The introduction is, it is the fourth cranial nerve. It carries purely motor fibers. This is a very slender nerve. The functional components are, it is purely motor, so it will have somatic efferent fibers which arise from the trochlear nucleus and supply the superior oblique muscle. It has general somatic afferent fibers, but these fibers traverse through the trochlea and ultimately they are handed over to the trigeminal to go to the mesencephalic nucleus of the trigeminal. The nucleus of trochlear nerve is located in the midbrain in the periaqueductal gray matter at the level of inferior colliculus. There are two sections of midbrain, one at superior colliculus, one at inferior colliculus. At the level of superior colliculus, there is the third nerve nucleus. At the level of inferior colliculus, there is the fourth nerve nucleus. The central connections are, the fourth nerve is connected with the cortex through the corticonuclear fibers, connected to the medial longitudinal fasciculus, which in turn connects it to the third, the sixth and the eighth nerves to coordinate the eye movements, and it is connected to the superior colliculus because superior colliculus is a part of tectum which is responsible for vision, and so it is connected through tectobulbar tract. Unlike the oculomotor nerve, the trochlear nerve is not connected to the pretectal nucleus, so it has nothing to do with the light reflex. Now, what is the superficial origin? It arises from the midbrain at the level of inferior colliculus. Initially, it passes downwards and forwards, but then it winds backwards around the central gray matter. When it reaches to the dorsal side, it decussates with the opposite nerve in the superior medullary velum, which is in the roof of the fourth ventricle. It emerges below the inferior colliculus on each side of the frenulum veli. Frenulum veli is a thickened vertical band in the superior medullary velum. Now, in the cranial cavity, it passes along the lateral surface of the cerebral peduncle. It lies between the temporal lobe and the basis pedunculi. So, this thin one is the trochlear nerve which lies between the temporal lobe and this is the midbrain. Passes forwards crossing the superior cerebellar peduncle. Then it lies between the two arteries, same like the oculomotor, the superior cerebellar and posterior cerebral arteries. It traverses in front of the oculomotor trigone, where it pierces the dura and enters the cavernous sinus related in its lateral wall. Here the trochlear nerve is related above with the oculomotor and below with the ophthalmic and maxillary nerve. So this small one is the trochlear nerve, above is oculomotor, below is ophthalmic division of trigeminal. It exits through the superior orbital fissure. Now in the superior orbital fissure, it lies in its lateral part, not through the tendinous ring. So if this is the superior orbital fissure, this is the tendinous ring, and the trochlear nerve is outside the tendinous ring. It is accompanied by two sensory nerves from lateral to medial side. They are lacrimal, frontal and trochlear. Lacrimal and frontal are branches of ophthalmic division of trigeminal and they are sensory nerves. Then it travels forwards and medially above the levator palpebrae superioris. This is the nerve over here and it supplies the superior oblique muscle from its orbital side, from the bone side. Now it terminates by supplying the superior oblique muscle of eyeball. It carries some sympathetic fibers from the plexus around the internal carotid artery when it is passing through the cavernous sinus. So the communications in the cavernous sinus with the sympathetic fibers. In superior orbital fissure, it communicates with the lacrimal nerve and in the orbit with the ophthalmic nerve. Through this, the proprioceptive fibers are carried and handed over to the trigeminal nerve. What are the peculiarities of trochlear nerve? It is the smallest and most slender cranial nerve. It is the only cranial nerve that emerges from the dorsal side of brainstem. It is the only nerve that decussates, crosses to the opposite side. All other cranial nerves emerge on the same side. Its nucleus receives only ipsilateral corticonuclear fibers and phylogenetically it is the nerve of the third eye. Functions: it acts through superior oblique muscle and action of superior oblique is it helps in depression and intorsion. What is the applied? When there is ipsilateral trochlear nerve palsy, there will be paralysis of superior oblique muscle. So this trochlear nerve palsy occurs after it has emerged out from the midbrain. So when the right-sided nerve is damaged, right-sided superior oblique will paralyze. The eye will not be able to turn downward and laterally, so the eyeball is in extorsion, that is the opposite action of superior oblique, and there is weakness of downward gaze. So the person will not have any difficulty while he is looking straight forwards, but when he is looking down, like when reading or when going downstairs, there may be diplopia and the person typically complains of falling or stumbling while going downstairs if there is trochlear nerve palsy. To compensate this, the patient tilts the head forward to the sound side. So to revise the trochlear nerve, it arises from the midbrain. So this is the midbrain. This is the dorsal aspect showing the tectum and this is the ventral aspect which is showing the cerebral peduncles. This is the substantia nigra. In the center there is a periaqueductal gray matter. In this there is the trochlear nerve nucleus. I will show it with the red color. The trochlear nerve arises from this nucleus. It first traverses downwards and forwards and then it winds back. On reaching the dorsal side, the nerves decussate, cross each other, travel along the lateral aspect of the midbrain. From the lateral side, they come and lie, here they lie between the temporal lobe of the brain. So this is temporal lobe and this is the crus cerebri or the peduncle of the midbrain. Then it will pass between two arteries. So this is the posterior cerebral and this is superior cerebellar artery. The trochlear nerve will also pass between these two. Same course like the oculomotor. Then here it will cross the oculomotor trigone, pierce the dura and come to lie in the lateral wall of the cavernous sinus, where it is related above with the oculomotor nerve and below with the ophthalmic division of trigeminal nerve. It will pass anteriorly and it will exit from the lateral side of the tendinous ring of Sinn, and it will go over the levator palpebris superioris and it will supply this superior oblique muscle. So what are the peculiarities of the trochlear nerve? One, it is the only nerve which arises from the dorsal aspect. Second, it is the only nerve which decussates, and it is a small and slender nerve. What are the functional components? It is having somatic efferent fibers. Also there are some general somatic afferent, but they travel through the trigeminal nerve. The function is the function of superior oblique, and when there is damage to the trochlear nerve, so the damage will be somewhere here, one, due to some pressure from the aneurysm of the artery or anywhere in its course. If it is damaged here, then if this is the right side, so the right sided superior oblique will be paralyzed. But if the damage is in the midbrain, so if the left side of midbrain is damaged, the right sided trochlear nerve palsy will appear, or the right sided superior oblique will be paralyzed because the nerve crosses.